All right. Hey there, everybody. My name is Tyson Johnson. I'm the president of Tennessee Alpha Chapter at University of Tennessee, Knoxville. I'm recording this presentation today to share with you guys some of the things that we've been doing virtually that we think are working really well. And hopefully you guys can take some good advice from that. And likewise, I hope that we can receive some good advice from you guys to help us not just survive, but even thrive during these times. So basically what we're going to be talking about today is how we're doing things virtually. Um, I don't think it's much of a surprise that most of what we've done in person in the past has moved on to a virtual format this semester, and maybe next semester. Hopefully we can get back to normal as soon as possible. But I'm sure that each of us has sort of played the role of each of these dogs here in this picture. Sometimes we know what we're doing. Sometimes we're anxious about whatever's going on, and sometimes we just don't have any clue what's going on. Hopefully we can share some advice with you guys to, kind of give you guys more confidence in operating virtually. So with that being said, some of the things that I'm going to talk about is how we're running our chapter meetings and our initiation this semester. I'm also going to talk about some social events that we have coming up and how we came up with those ideas. And I'm going to do the same kind of thing for service opportunities for our members. So chapter meetings, we have these roughly once every month. They were previously on campus, and now we hold them on Zoom. I don't think that's incredibly surprising to anybody, but that is what we do. We take attendance via Google form that we post in the chat. So like in the past, we've had a Google form, people came in the room, they fill it out then. Now we just post a link to that in the chat. One thing I want to point out about using Google form to do your attendance is we think it's also a really great way to conduct chapter business, right? So some things we've used it for in the past was to elect our convention chair for the upcoming Knoxville convention next year. We've used it to confirm email addresses, make sure people are getting our emails, see if they want to sign up for committees, all sorts of things like that. So if you decide to do a Google form to take attendance, use it, for more than just attendance, use it to do some chapter business as well. So after we do that, we'll go through slides of things members need to know, things that we have coming up that we need their help with, service opportunities, stuff like that, which I'll talk about later. That takes maybe 15, 20 minutes. And then we'll move on to an industry guest presentation. So we bring in someone from some company. We try to make sure we keep it nice and diverse, so we're not always talking, to someone that's really sort of centered on chemical engineering. We try to try to broaden our horizons, make sure everyone gets some attention. So they'll give some presentation about what's going on at their site, what's going on in their company, recruiting opportunities for our members, things like that. They'll give their presentation, and then we'll follow it up with a Q&A from our members. And that's pretty much what goes on in our monthly chapter meetings. Initiation, another thing that's really important every semester to all chapters. So again, I don't think this is surprising, but we're doing a Zoom-based initiation this semester. Those were piloted in the spring when things really began to change. It worked out well, so we're going to stick with it, especially with the particular restrictions we have on our campus. So that's what's working out for us. Essentially, we take everything that we used to do in person and just move it to some sort of virtual format, right? So we used to have initiation letters that our members would deliver out to people they knew, maybe their friends or classmates, stuff like that. Now we just send them out over email. And so that's something that's available to our members to earn service hours. We give service hours for that. And it also kind of opens the door up for those members. So now they can just send it out to whatever email address the initiate has. It doesn't have to be someone that they know from class or whatever. And then we have an interest meeting. So after the initiates have received the letters, and if they want to know, what this organization is all about, we've got an interest meeting for them to show up, and we'll talk to them, not in person, but over Zoom. So kind of in person, I guess. That's kind of the point of it. It's for them to put some faces with the organization and to see what they can get out of it. And so once we have sort of a base of people that we've invited and they are wanting to join, we ask them to get signatures of current members, current officers and professors on campus that are members of Tau Beta Pi. So that used to be sort of an in-person thing. They would email people and ask to meet up and get a signature. Now it's all virtual. So we've got an email list of people that they can get signatures from, and they'll, email out and ask for the signature. In the past, what we've done is they've had to answer some, some question about, something random. One of the ones that I'm remembering right now is, what's your favorite flavor of pie, right? So the initiate would ask the member that question, they get an answer and sign off that said, they talked to this person. And then we have interviews coming up here in a couple weeks. That is, of course, to judge the moral character of the initiates. And that's, of course, over Zoom as well, and is another opportunity for service hours for our members. Once that's all gone through, initiates have completed everything we asked them to do, then we'll hold the initiation roughly in the middle of November. So that's what's going on with that. Like I said, basically we just took everything we used to do and made it work in a virtual world some way. So what are some of the social events we have coming up? Some we have done. We had a virtual picnic with the Great Smoky Mountains alumni chapter, where we used to do this in person in the past. People basically just hopped on a Google Meet call and had whatever lunch, dinner they were having, and just had a chat. Jackbox games, I don't know if you guys have heard of that. It's like a sort of a way that people can play party games together. A Bob Ross paint-along contest. So this is a really funny idea that I thought was pretty cool. So basically what this is, is that people can hop on a Zoom call with each other, and we'll all watch a Bob Ross painting video together, and we'll try to real-time replicate it over whatever you have on your iPad or Microsoft Paint, whatever you got. And then at the end, we'll see who came up with the best copy of Bob Ross. Trivia, Netflix party, stuff like that, just all sorts of virtual things. The major thing I want to point out about this is to poll your members about what they want to do. Right, so we did this, like I said earlier, on the Google form for our chapter meetings on the attendance one day. We said, what's something that you guys would like to do? And they came up with really creative stuff like this Bob Ross paint-along contest that I certainly would never have in a million years thought about doing, but it sounds like a pretty awesome idea. So use the creativity of your members and find out what they want to do. So if you're doing something that they've mentioned and they want to do, they're a lot more likely to show up to it as well. So that's kind of my major point on social events, is just poll your members, see what they want to do. And service opportunities. So we're continuing to provide service opportunities however they are available, whether that be some sort of in-person or virtual. You want to provide opportunities in both modalities just to make sure all your members have something to do that they're comfortable with. So some examples for us would be like organizing our headquarters, our storage closet that we have on campus. We have a lot of opportunities with initiation. So virtual would be, like I mentioned earlier, sending those letters out and emails. One in-person opportunity would be packaging bents to send out. So usually we would have bents that we would give to initiates when we interviewed them. Since we're doing that in Zoom now, we can't physically hand them a bent right there, but we can still mail them one. And so you can give hours to your members if they'll come and help you package bents to send out. Helping with initiation and the ceremony, stuff like that. Just be creative. There are service opportunities all over the place if you just get creative and kind of open things up to your members to help. There are also community events that we have here in Knoxville. So one that we used to do in person, the Knoxville Zoo has like a Halloween event they put on for the kids, and they ask for volunteers from all over the place, and our group was one of them that we used to go do that with. And they're still doing the event this year, just with all the precautions and stuff, so that's still available to us. So that's something that we do as well. Yeah, I mean, kind of the point of this slide, and this is certainly something that we try to keep in mind too, is that it just, especially in these times, it takes a lot of creativity to find ways that we can continue to have service opportunities. So in particular, I'm really looking forward to hearing what you guys are doing to help us out as well. So here's our contact information. Like I said, my name's Tyson, so I'm at the top there. I'm not going to be available for the live Q&A when our turn is. So our Vice President, Mark Lee, is going to handle that. So you'll see him if you come to our session, and there's his email as well. So that's it from me. Thank you guys for listening to this, and looking forward to hearing if you guys find any of this useful and to get some advice from you guys as well. All right, thanks.